What is going on, everybody? We are here at the 2025 Majestic out here in Minnesota. This is stop number 5 of the Go Throw Tour out here at Blue Ribbon Pines. My name is Braden Sides.
My name is Randy Dewey.
And we are going to be commentating over the back 13 holes of coverage out here at the Majestic. Huge shout out to our guys at Infinite Discs for sponsoring this coverage. Let's take a little check-in, see the first half of the leaderboard.
You got EvanSmith right here, 25 down, currently leading the tournament by 2 strokes over Joe Revere. Luke Taylor right there. We got a bunch of players that are right there in the mix. Let's see how it plays out.
Hole 15, par 3, 256 feet. Little left to right bender here. I think you're gonna see sidearms from right-handed players, the occasional backhand, and the green on this hole is pretty unique. The basket is hung by something. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's hung on it. And this is also one of the only Prodigy. This is the only Prodigy basket that we play on, which I think is interesting. We play on 26 of the Helix baskets and then 1 Prodigy.
Nice shot by EvanSmith there. Parks it. It is hard to get the disc that close, I feel like, on this hole.
Jaden, I think he's throwing a zone or a zone-like disc.
Slightly inside. Got to miss that last tree. It does not. That's going to be a little bit of a tricky putt, especially with the tall hanging basket.
Austin throwing the Quake. Pulls it a bit, kicks over to the right. Going to be a pretty simple up and down. I imagine he's not going to run that shot. Noah throwing maybe a Firebird of some sort. Oh, gets the little one hop and jump off the little pedestal.
Looks like he's just laying up. It's not worth it on this basket. Jaden looks locked in. He's trying to make it.
Pulls it a little right and has a little bit of a comebacker. Oh, and he's out next. That's always the worst feeling. When you putt it, and then it's you again.
That is true.
Left side chains, but not center enough. Noah cleaning up the birdie. Look at the basket swing. Yeah, I don't think it really makes much of a difference when you putt, like it moving from left to right just slightly.
I mean, I think they should put on some sort of machine where the basket slightly sways, you know, just a few feet.
Yeah.
You know, add some variety,
You think that
make it fun.
That would give you an advantage?
I'd ace it every time. We're on a hole 16. This is a par 4, 640 feet. Try to get out this gap right here. You do not want to go in that pond. And you also do not want to go left. There's OB on the left. So whatever this will take you to the middle of this fairway is ideal. And it should give you a relatively short upshot for the birdie. Seems simple, but it's definitely one of the harder holes on the course.
Yeah, this is a hole that doesn't really require much distance off the tee. So I think you'll see a lot of players throwing slower discs, such as mid-range or fairway drivers.
That can happen very easily. That is a fortunate kick, though.
Yeah.
Noah going with this slight turnover here. There's some gunshots in the back. I remember they happened right as I was putting. It was kind of cool.
Really? There was a lot of them, I remember. Austin throwing the buzz. Oh, perfect. I thought he squared that one tree. Yeah, I think the key here is just putting yourself in position, giving yourself a chance to have a shot into the green, not worrying so much about biting off distance off the tee.
Looks like Jaden catches a left tree. Interesting to see where he kicked to.
I think Evan's got the sidearm distance to try and attack this pin from way back there.
Okay.
Okay, pretty fortunate reaction maybe, or it was a close call to ending up in that out of bounds to the right. Jaden bites off a good bit of distance on his second shot. Austin throwing the same quake. And as you can see the trees moving, it is very windy at this point in the round.
Yeah, I believe there was a straight headwind here.
Yep. And Austin and Noah throw it to perfection. Jaden has probably less than 200 feet into the green, but just a very awkward angle. Puts the zone right up to the basket. Unfortunate 5. But happens quick when you're out of position on this hole.
Evan, long look. Looks like the headwind kind of made it turn over.
Yeah. That wind was no joke. I remember we got to this section of the course, and it was so windy that you could hear the chains on the basket like hitting the pole.
Oh, jeez.
Here we are, hole number 17, commonly referred to as the pulley-pulley hole. Par 3, 240 feet, and you're throwing to a very, very, very small green. You can pretty much throw however you want. There's nothing in your way. The only thing you have to do is put it on this little circle, or else you're headed to the drop zone. The drop zone is about a 40-foot putt or so.
It's definitely makeable.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, certainly makeable. But with today's wind, I think you're definitely trying to put it close. You do not want to go to that drop zone, but it looks like Noah is headed there.
Oh, Austin gets a nice little roll.
Wow.
Lands short, but gets a favorable roll. Strong left to right here.
Evan throwing maybe a justice. Comes up just short. Jaden. Ooh,
Wow.
hitting the cage. Sometimes the basket is nice and gets in your way. Feels bad to bogey a hole that's 240 feet with nothing in your way, but this one is a very easy hole to do it on. You're out here in the wide open, the wind's howling in your face. Not a very easy hole in these conditions, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, this course has quite a few island holes, so it's like if your misses happen to be on the island holes, your score at the end of the round is going to look much different. So sometimes it's just about missing or making the right shot at the right time.
Okay, Lucky, so you're Norwegian. Why don't you just tell people about your discs, and then I'll translate for people who don't speak the language.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lykke Lorentzen.
Hei, jeg heter Lykke Lorentzen.
Thank you to everyone who's bought my Signature Series discs.
Tusen takk til alle som har kjøpt min Signature Series disk.
Don't forget, you can buy them at infinitediscs.com.
Ikke glem at du kan kjøpe den på internettdisk.com.
Was that okay?
Wow, I didn't know you could speak Norwegian.
Yeah, Duolingo.
Here we are at the driving range hole. Hole number 18, par 4, 760 feet. Nothing in your way other than this tiny little OB river that's just under 500 feet. And then you have a tricky approach into the green. It's hard to put this one close because you have this out of bounds that kind of wants you to push it a little far long and left. Stay away from that OB. I wonder if we'll see these players attempt to go over in today's wind.
Wind is pretty good. It's like a pushing left to right, like a sort of a tailwind. It looks like Austin is just laying up here. Pretty smart.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play, especially in this wind. It'd be really challenging for him to get shot over the green because as it's turning, the disc is just going to get smashed down by the wind. Looks like Jaden's also electing to lay up. And the crowd hates it. The crowd is booing them.
Noah, though, looks like he got some oomph behind this one.
Oh, yeah.
That's some oomph right there. Golly.
Wow, clears that thing with ease. You know, he's a sneaky bomber. I've seen him throw, and he throws it far.
This gets a little bit of flip up, but it's looking pretty good. It's a very open hole, but I actually really like this hole just because you're forced to make some decisions, and that's one thing I really like about it, because you gotta decide if you want to go short or long of the creek, and then on the upshot, it's nothing easy with that little pond and the OB long.
Yeah, the tee pad placement in relation to where the little river is, or the little OB river, so
Right.
to speak, is a pretty good distance, because for a lot of players it's kind of closer to the peak of their distance.
Right.
So you definitely have to be wise and make a good decision based on the conditions.
The pond is placed in a good spot to where, like, and EvanSmith just kind of goes long. You're forced to, like, you can park it, but it's super risky. It's better to just play for a long look, and I like that golf aspect of it. Austin throwing nice and wide. This is looking pretty good if it has the distance. Yeah.
Solid. I think that's the part of the green that you want to be on with today's conditions, because I think that's going to be just a straight tailwind putt, which I think most players prefer to putt in. Noah having just a chip shot into the green.
Playing that left side to be safe. Yep. 20-footer.
Again, he's on the good side of the green, I think, so very good shot there from Noah.
Evan trying to save his par. It's kind of a death putt. Oh, and the wind just kind of lifts it.
Really?
Unfortunate.
Wow, and he goes out of bounds there.
Jaden with a nice putt for birdie.
So now Evan's going to be putting for
Putting for a
6.
6. Yep. Not Austin's best attempt. Looks like his fingers might have been sweaty or something. Noah gets in there for his birdie.
putting into the wind. That is not the putt that you want for double bogey. Well, I don't think you want any putt for double bogey in this hole, but especially not a little tester into the wind. Dang, and that's going to be an unfortunate couple of holes there for Evan. And who's that guy?
Who's that guy? He's just looking with
Back
his
there in the woods.
big hat on. Jeez Louise. Here we are. Hole 19. Here's another island hole, although you can lay up short if you just want to play for the 3. Island is not very big. You're probably going to be playing a big hyzer, big righty hyzer. You don't really have any room on the left side to throw a hyzer. It's definitely tricky, especially with the right to left wind we had today.
Yeah, it seems like this wind might be the like worst wind for the course to play.
Oh my goodness. Basket gets in the way.
Again.
I believe that has probably happened multiple times. Here we have a run back. I mean, it looked nice and wide. Takes it and wow, a few inches from going in the basket.
Gosh. I don't know what that thing is on top of the basket. I think it's like a light of some sort. Maybe if they play out in the like night. It looks like that kind of saved him from skipping off the top and going into the out of bounds.
There's a common result right there.
Austin throwing the same nuke he threw on 1 and don't know if he loves it.
It's so stable, it's good.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, he absolutely loves it. I could not have been more wrong. Evan.
This is gonna need to get down. Skips into the OB.
Noah with a nice putt into the wind. Save the par. This hole is tricky. It's short, but it's tricky. I think that's a common theme out here. There's a lot of holes that on paper are very attainable and scoreable, but they just provide a good challenge, and I think that makes for a pretty solid disc golf course. Jaden and Austin showing us how it's done. Almost got the ace. That's crazy. Hole number 20, par 3, 440 feet. With today's wind, as a righty, at least, you're going to want to just let this one be out wide, throw it hard, give it the width because the wind's going to help swing it back in towards the basket. Austin is likely going to want to throw this one a little bit more direct to the basket because as it's fading, I think the wind's going to push it down. But ideally, you put this one close. It's very common though to end up just a little bit short and have just an outside the circle putt.
Right. Jaden going with his Calvin Destroyer here, nice and wide and high.
Looks perfect.
Looks absolutely perfect. What a shot.
I mean, almost nearly dunks it again. It looks like if that was a little higher, it could have gone in. This guy's all over the basket.
Low and driven. Kind of like how this looks. Yeah.
You don't really get any skips on this grass. As soon as it touches, it just kind of sits exactly where it is. So you really want to play this one, the number of the hole. Oh,
another good shot, Noah.
Noah almost dunks that one too.
I think this hole is fun. There's not much danger. You just blast a shot and,
Yeah.
hope for the best. That's a great shot by Evan as well. We all have looks for a birdie.
Yeah, there's not a lot of times out on this course that you get to just rip a driver. But this is one of them.
Putt by Noah again.
I feel like it's rare that you see a player coming back at the basket for a birdie putt.
Right.
And we have 2 of them on this card. Ooh, and that one just stays in. Looked like a good putt, but almost had an unfortunate result. And the righty shows how it's done.
we are back. We are on a hole 21. It says 355 feet. It's more like 405 feet. Par 3. Pretty demanding. Throw something out of this gap. Get something over this little OB creek / river, whatever you want to call it. And give yourself a look. I mean, priority here is just getting out to the open and giving yourself a putt. Very demanding tee shot, I feel like. Pretty good for a righty forehand like Jaden here. Looks like he's going for that option.
Yeah, I think sidearm is the preferred play on this hole. Just because the right side of this fairway is a lot more open. You have more space to work the disc from right to left into the gap. Let's see if Noah can show us. Looks like he started at a good width, but just never got it turning into the gap late.
That's going to be tough to get up and down from that spot, I feel like. It's usually pretty tough on that right side. Evan really getting over on this. A little bit too much. No one out in the open so far.
Yeah, and another thing that maybe it's challenging to see, but maybe not. I mean, these leaves are moving. We're throwing right into the wind on this hole. And 4 not exemplary tee shots from these guys, but it's easy to do. This is a really tricky hole in today's conditions.
He's lining up a little. Okay.
Okay.
Wind just keeps it over and not ideal.
Yeah, that's going to be likely a bogey for Noah. Getting off this fairway is most of the time resulting in a bogey just because of how thick these woods are, and there's not a ton of alleyways out. As you can see, Evan clipping one of the last trees. Jaden, I don't exactly know where that one ended up, but got across the creek or the ditch. Austin putting that one close.
Important here to compose yourself and just take your 4. I'd be scared with that putt for bogey, but I don't know if Evan is that scared. He's usually pretty clutch.
Scared.
He probably has never been scared in his life.
Nope. Noah with a spinner.
But the basket's scared of that.
Wow.
Whenever Noah comes around.
And he just dances it in. He loves it.
That is an amazing putt.
That was sick. Watch, he starts kind of jumping around midway as it's fine. He just knows it's right in the heart.
Kind of similar to his putt on hole 8. That is so nice.
That was a sick putt. Jaden with a long one to save his par. Tries to just ride the wind into the basket.
Evan makes it work.
Yep, puts it just high enough to account for the wind. Kind of looks like Evan's getting a little bit frustrated after being, I think he was 12 under through 14. Now he's 10 under through 21. So Austin just squeaks it in there. Kind of a disappointing stretch for Evan as he was shredding. Seems to be cooling off, but this is the time where you just got to put your head down and say, all right, we got, 6 more holes left. Let's see if we can birdie the rest. Starting with hole number 22, par 3, 342. Great disc golf hole, I think. A little left to right bender. You have this pond that you have to clear and this beautiful island looking green with the mulch. You have a couple of options. Throw sidearm, backhand turnover. This one sets up really nice for Austin. Let's see how Noah lines this one up with a backhand turnover, but just doesn't get it to turn enough.
Yeah, this is another one of those holes where without the pond it'd be so easy, I feel like. You'd be able to just throw a little turnover and give yourself a look every time, but the water can scare you a little bit.
Yeah, you always kind of tell yourself, you know, make sure you get it over the water. And this is a pretty common result to end up 35 feet, 45 feet long of the basket.
Jaden going with his Calvin Destroyer forehand.
This looks perfect.
He committed on that one. He's
Wow.
a little bit long.
That's a big sidearm. They also have a pretty strong wind to their back that they have to take into account.
If the distance is right on this one, it could be pretty good. And it is.
Perfect.
Staring at the water. Doesn't quite get the commitment he wanted to.
Oh, with the jumper again, and
Noah's just dancing
Squeaks
around
it
this
in.
whole course, just making putts from everywhere.
I'm sure he's just loving it being here, you know, back at home. Place where he's won before. No one knows how to get it done out here. Austin just comes up just a little bit short.
Nice birdie from Evan. Trying to get back on that birdie train.
Two cleanups from Austin and Jaden. Gonna head over to the 23rd. Hole 23, par 3, 270 feet. Great woods hole. For about 70% of the flight, you just want to go straight. Right at that 70% mark, you want to start getting your disc moving left, just bending behind this tiny tree to the left. And you have this basket, you know, tucked over here. On the left side, a little bit of a guarded green. Most players are probably going to throw a slower disc with some blade stability.
Noah gets a nice release. It's kind of what you want to do. Clips the branch, but no problem.
Perfect. Yeah, I think this hole, it's kind of interesting because the basket is almost like perpendicular with the bend, like the corner, I should
Right.
say. So it's not like you want to get the disc to go straight, and then it just has to barely beat this corner. Like if Austin had a foot more of power, I think it was perfect. But if you get the disc flying straight for too long, it always ends up in that late rough. That makes it challenging to have a clean putt.
You really got to shape your shot, which makes it so much. It's a great hole.
Yeah, and the speed control required to put it close is you have to be very good at you know, tempoing down on your shots. Looks like we're gonna have 3 birdies on this hole, which is pretty great. Again, another one of those holes where, although it's short, it's tricky. I mean, these guys made it look like it's very easy. And on paper it is simple, but
Anything off the fairway, you can take a big number as well. I may or may not have taken a 5 in a practice round. I don't know.
oh, did you hit the first tree?
Did I?
Felix will tell us later.
Hole 24, 388 feet, par 3. Throw a big hyzer. Unless you're lefty like Austin, he's probably going to go with something. I'm going to try to turn something over, throw a little bit of a flex shot, but it's drifts out here in the open, and you just got to try to read the wind right. There was a pretty strong left to right on it today, so make sure you don't throw it too wide, and give yourself a look for the bird.
Yeah, this one is like the tee pad is just kind of pointed in an odd direction. You're probably not going to see many players running up the actual like straightness of the tee pad. Kind of come from this right side. Especially with today's wind, you kind of want to throw it over these bushes. Because as it's flying, the wind's just going to beat it down. That's a pretty good shot from Evan. Gonna leave him with somewhere inside the circle for birdie.
Jaden hangs out a little bit wide. Wind is probably going to push it down, but not bad at all.
So this is a little bit more technical shot from Austin. Let's see, does
He
it
gets
turn
a
enough?
nice drift.
Oh, perfect.
He's pretty good at this game, it looks like.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Especially into the breeze, having to manipulate something that late down the fairway. Very good shot from Austin, and very good putt from Evan. Seems like he's starting to get the birdie train rolling a bit after kind of a little rough stretch. I think he's gotten his head down and focused on getting these last ones coming in. A good putt from Noah. I feel like we've barely seen his putter hit the ground today.
Yeah, I was trying to think about if he missed any putts. Don't really think so. At a course like this, putting is very important. You're going to give yourself a lot of looks, and you just need to capitalize.
And our chase card does capitalize on this hole. So we get a little star frame action. Hole 25, par 3, 260 feet. Dead straight hole. Again, very simple, but you have some trees up the fairway that you have to maneuver. I think you'll see mostly just straight shots. Maybe some people will play a subtle flex shot. Just trying to beat this one little tree thing.
Pole / tree. It's all made out of a tree, you know.
Whatever it is.
It's wood. There's Noah a little bit right. Oh, he misses that tree, and that should give himself a look. That was pretty fortunate.
Squeaks by it.
Usually we'll have to make a putt on this hole. It's kind of hard to park it.
Yep. Looks like Evan is going for that subtle flex.
But Evan parks it. Oh, my
Perfect.
goodness.
Oh, and a sidearm. Okay.
It's whatever you feel most confident with, I guess. And it looks great. I can see why he did it. Wow.
Conrad, that was some very good camera work, my friend. Austin throwing it straight. I feel like this is a pretty common result. You know, you commit to the gap, you pure it, and the discs always just kind of run just a little bit because of this hard. That was surprising. I felt like that was a no-doubter. But I feel like the discs run just a little bit because of all the dirt and the mulch here.
Yeah, this might be one of the few holes where the disc will just take off because there's so much lush grass out here. You might not be thinking about it either. Jaden makes a nice putt for birdie.
Austin and Noah cleaning up their pars, and Evan tapping a birdie. Make it 4 in a row.
Hole 26. This is a par 4, under 400 feet, but you can't get to the green. I really don't think, unless you threw something crazy, but most players are just going to throw a little hyzer to right around here, and then you're going to be throwing another little chip shot at this beautiful green here. You're trying to get to the top, but anything on the mulch will give yourself a look, and it's one you feel like you should get.
I think this is gonna have to be one of the holes that these guys get if they're looking for a spot on that lead card on Sunday. Evan throws a pretty good one.
Jaden going for the turnover forehand.
Jaden also throwing a pretty good one. I feel like it's common to end up kind of pinned up on this one little tree in the fairway. But he's so close to the green that he's going to be able to manufacture something from there.
Noah pushing the back wall a little bit, but should be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of the big issue, I think, with this hole. Or not issue with the hole necessarily, but mistake that I see a lot of players make. So they just push it just a little bit too far, and now they kind of have to manufacture something from the rough. Oh, and Evan throwing a nice hyzer. Skipping off the first here, ending up on the second. I think that's going to be a relatively short putt for the birdie.
Short putt, a little bit obstructed, a little bit of a uphill putt, but should be doable. Jaden trying to get to the top tier, extremely hard to do.
Not a bad spot there, though. Still going to be relatively short putt for the birdie. Noah just spinning this one right on the pole.
They call that perfection. Jaden in for the birdie.
I think it was pretty cool. I didn't know that they, I played the Majestic last year, and we played on the same Prodigy baskets that they had on, I forget the number. Maybe it was 16, no, 15, the swinging basketball.
Yeah.
But then we got here this year, and they had the, oh, and Evan just,
just
squeezed
I haven't
that one
seen
in
that
there.
from him before.
Me neither.
Evan.
But we got here, and they had the Helix baskets in, and I thought that was a great addition to this course because these baskets are just awesome.
They're my favorite baskets now.
Does it concern you how much Infinite Discs uses your likeness in their marketing?
No, not at all. First off, the Alpaca is an amazing putter.
Right.
And Alpacas don't miss. Shout out my guy Proctor. And Infinite Discs is a great company. They have like 100,000 discs in stock, so their selection and prices are incredible.
Sure.
So I'm not concerned about being associated with them. I'll tell you what does concern me though.
What?
The rise of AI.
Oh yeah, that's scary stuff.
AI is everywhere right now, so it's like so hard to tell it was real. I was not.
And we're back with the final hole of our second round, hole number 27, par 3, 310 feet. You have this island green. Players do have the option to lay up before this little creek. We are not going to see any of our players do that on this card. You have to stick the green or else you are headed to the drop zone that's on this little bridgeway. Pin placement's right in the middle. Pretty decently sized island. This is going to be all about reading the wind correctly and getting your disc to stop on the island.
It's a good way to check your nerves here in the last, so I like it.
Yeah, very good hole coming down the stretch of the tournament. I think it's going to play a big part into tomorrow's round on Sunday for who becomes the winner of this thing.
All right, Evan judging the wind really well. It is a right to left, so the forehand is a preferred play.
Yep, just about getting the width right. Evan does, and it looks like Jaden does as well. Noah also throwing it and looking pretty solid. Just got to get it to stop. That's the tough thing. You're coming in with that much speed. I think that was a driver from Noah. It's hard to get it to stop on this green sometimes when you land on the middle or the right side of it.
Austin looks like he loves that quake, and can see why. Beautifully done. Does he have one more in him? Yes, he does. All day.
What a display we had from Noah today.
I would like to know.
How many feet of distance he made
Yes.
with putting? Has to be a lot. Has to be a lot. Evan putting into the wind, in the heart. That's going to end Evan at 16 under for the day. Phenomenal round. Especially in today's conditions. It was very tough. The wind was very challenging.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to be pleased with that score.
Yeah. I mean, I think all 4 of our guys are going to be pleased. 12 under, 13 under, 14 under, 16 under.
Beautiful display.
Yep. Pretty great. I think we are going to see some of these guys jump up to the lead card for tomorrow's Championship Sunday. Let's take a look.
Looks like we got Evan and Noah that made it on the lead card. Joe Revere's got the lead by 3. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out tomorrow. Luke Taylor jumps up to lead card.
I think Austin's actually on the lead card for tomorrow.
Oh, what did I say?
Well, you said Luke. I think that thing was just switched
Oh,
for some
okay.
reason.
All right.
But anyways, it's going to be a fun Sunday filled with a lot of action. Be sure to subscribe to Ace Run Pro so that you don't miss out on that Championship Sunday. Thank you guys for watching this with us. I'm Braden Sides.
I'm Randy Duick.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at BradenSidesDG and Randy_Duick95. Check out my K1 Hard Reco, link in the description if you want to support my tour. It means a ton. Randy's going to have some discs too. Be sure to hit him up on Instagram, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace. Boom.
Boom.
Boom.